Hello students, now we continue with the transportation process of cell biology. Last time we did osmosis, diffusion, passive processes. Then we talked about active processes. Once let's revise for 2 minutes. Diffusion was transportation of both solute as well as solvent from higher concentration to lower concentration till a chemical equilibrium is reached. That was diffusion. The significance of diffusion is too much in life. All gaseous exchanges during breathing and photosynthesis is because of diffusion. Glucose is absorbed, minerals are absorbed many a times by diffusion. Now we like to revise osmosis also. Osmosis, you can say, is a special type of diffusion in which a semi-permeable membrane is involved. Semi-permeable means half permeable, that it will allow only solvent to pass, not solute. So solvent pass from higher concentration to lower concentration, or we call it as technically as from higher chemical gradient to lower chemical gradient. That is osmosis. Once again, I like to talk about little bit of osmosis again. Let's suppose these are two glass vessels and this is semi-permeable membrane. It is half permeable. It will allow only water to pass from region of higher concentration to lower concentration. For example, here we have 100% water and 0 sugar. Here we have 50% water and 50% sugar. So water will flow from higher level to lower level. This was osmosis, and examples of semi-permeable membranes are cell membrane, parchment paper, and even we have developed in chemistry lab copper ferricyanide as one of the semi-permeable membranes. So that was a revision of osmosis. Active transport will always involve certain ATP pumps like sodium potassium pumps, and it will always involve energy, and it will always be against concentration gradient. For example, in a cell there are 50 molecules of glucose. Outside are 20 molecules of glucose. Now when I say there are special pumps like sodium potassium pumps, we call them as sodium potassium ATP pumps, they will pull this glucose inside, involving energy against the concentration gradient, because glucose is a very useful substance. If we go by diffusion, glucose should come out, but on the contrary, from lower level to higher level glucose is going inside. This is active transportation, that is against the concentration gradient. And most of the absorption, whether it is mineral absorption in plants, absorption in our small intestine of glucose, amino acids, minerals, that is mainly involving active transportation, because we cannot afford to lose these important molecules. So this was the basic revision of the previous lecture what we have done. Now we come to bulk transport through cell wall and cytoplasm. First of all, it is imperative to tell you that cell wall is freely permeable. Whereas cell membrane is selectively permeable. Freely permeable means it will allow both solute as well as solvent to pass. Selectively permeable term specially is used for cell membrane because it will allow diffusion, it will allow osmosis, it will allow active transportation as the need requires. And now, if you recall the first lecture, we did fluid mosaic model of cell membrane, in which we had some tunnel proteins which allow certain molecules to pass through them. We had some transport proteins. We have sodium potassium pumps. So all these are due to that fluid mosaic model that the membrane has selective permeability. So is it clear, kids? Let's go ahead. Now bulk transport, it is a mode of transport in large amount of substance, bulk. Large amount of substances and food particles are transported in and out of the cell across plasma membrane. It involves formation of carrier vesicles by folding of plasma membrane. It is of two types, endocytosis and exocytosis. Now I think right from lower classes we have been remembering this thing, that let's say this is amoeba. As it finds a food particle nearby, which is of course a microorganism, it will move towards it and will extend its pseudopodia like this. Forming a food cup, and this is the extensions of pseudopodia. Gradually this food particle will be engulfed in the form of a vesicle which will come inside the amoeba. This is what is endocytosis. As we go ahead, I will be talking about cell eating, that is phagocytosis, cell drinking, pinocytosis. So what I have shown here is type of endocytosis, which is also known as phagocytosis or cell eating. Exocytosis, to get rid of some wastes. And as it is saying, carrier vesicles, some membrane bound structures. For example, amoeba wants to throw something out. Let's say these are the waste particles. They'll be enclosed in a vesicle, a membrane bound structure, and gradually these pseudopodia will withdraw and this vesicle will be thrown out. This is what is exocytosis. So endocytosis is taking in, exocytosis is sending out in bulk, in large amounts. Endocytosis is a process of ingestion of food particles or material by cell through plasma membrane. It is also known as phagocytosis, which is cell eating, pinocytosis, cell drinking. As I said, amoeba will engulf a food particle by pseudopodia And finally, this food particle will enter inside the amoeba to form a food vacuole. This is what is phagocytosis or cell eating. Solid particles, this is to be remembered. Now sometimes what happens, the cytoplasm and the plasma membrane invaginates, and whatever liquid is present inside the surrounding, that is engulfed inside the cell. This is the phenomena where we call it as cell drinking or pinocytosis. So the advantage of pinocytosis is that whatever nutrients are present in this liquid water or liquid material, they will become integral part of the cytoplasm. So this is cell drinking. Now they have already shown here that how the engulfment is occurring, how invagination of cell membrane is occurring, how a vesicle is formed. So they have shown the endocytosis. This is again diagram of endocytosis, where a cup-shaped food cup is formed by the extension of pseudopodia. This is also known as circumvallation. Particle is withdrawn in. In pinocytosis, as I said, the liquid will be drunk by the cell, which is cell drinking. Now, exocytosis involves removal of substance. So I already explained. In this process, it involves fusion of membrane of vesicle with the plasma membrane to release its contents to the surrounding media. This is also called as cellular vomiting or ephagy. Phagy means to eat. Ephagy is to vomit. So just see, a vesicle is formed across the wastes. And finally, this bursts and the wastes are thrown out. So as this is writing that bye-bye waste, we don't need you in the cell. So this is exocytosis. Cell wall. Now, cell wall is present in three kingdoms, that is Monera. Bacteria also has cell wall. It is made up of peptidoglycan. Fungi also has cell wall. It is made up of chitin. Plant cell also has cell wall. It is made up of cellulose. Animals don't have cell wall. So, plant cell wall is made of cellulose, very, very important. Bacteria peptidoglycan, it is a glycoprotein. जब प्रोटीन और कार्बोहाइड्रेट इकट्ठे हो जाते हैं उसको ग्लाइकोप्रोटीन कहते हैं और पेप्टिडोग्लाइकन बन जाता है. पेप्टो refers to protein, glycan is carbohydrate. Fungi is again a complex carbohydrate, that is chitin. It provides protection to plants because unlike animals they cannot move. So what is the relevance of cell wall? Unlike animals, plants can't move, fungi can't move. So cell wall gives rigidity and protection to the cell. It being rigid provides protection against high wind speeds, variation in temperatures, etc. It also gives shape and support to the plant cell. It is freely permeable and non-living part of the cell. Now, what main points we have to grasp from competition point of view? Cell wall of fungi is made up of chitin. Cell wall of bacteria is made up of peptidoglycan. What is a peptidoglycan? A glycoprotein. Cell wall of plant cell is made up of cellulose. It provides protection against high wind speeds, variation in temperatures, because birds and mammals are homeotherms or warm-blooded animals. Or we also call them as एंडोथर्म्स. इसका मतलब क्या है? अगर मुझे आप चाहे अमेरिका ले जाओ, चाहे अफ्रीका ले जाओ, चाहे अंटार्कटिका ले जाओ, मेरे बॉडी का टेम्परेचर 98.4 डिग्री फ़ारेनहाइट से रहेगा. 98.4 डिग्री फ़ारेनहाइट और 36.2 डिग्री सेल्सियस अप्रॉक्स. तो मैं अपना बॉडी टेम्परेचर मेंटेन करके रख सकता हूं क्योंकि मैं मैमल हूं, सेम एज बर्ड्स. बाकी सारे लिविंग बींग्स दे आर कोल्ड ब्लडेड. इनको कहते हैं पोइकिलोथर्म्स. और एक्टोथर्म्स. और यार मैं अपने घर में छिपकली पाल रखी मैंने, हैं? उसका टेम्परेचर मुझे थर्मामीटर लगा के देखने की जरूरत नहीं है. ये मेरी एक फ्रेंड है छिपकली, इसका टेम्परेचर देखने के लिए मुझे थर्मामीटर लगाने की जरूरत नहीं है. जो रूम टेम्परेचर होगा वो ही इसकी बॉडी का टेम्परेचर होगा. अगर 30 डिग्री सेल्सियस है तो इसका बॉडी टेम्परेचर भी 30 डिग्री. बाहर 40 है तो इसका भी 40. तो इसलिए इसको एक्टोथर्म कह दिया, पोइकिलोथर्म कह दिया या कोल्ड ब्लडेड एनिमल कह दिया. तो मैं जो बात आपके दिमाग में बिठाना चाह रहा हूं बच्चों, कि बर्ड्स और मैमल्स को छोड़ के बाकी सारे लिविंग बींग्स, प्लांट्स, फंजाई, बैक्टीरिया, प्रोटोजोन्स, वो सारे कोल्ड ब्लडेड हैं. इसलिए एज वी गो अहेड इन बायोलॉजी विल बी टॉकिंग अबाउट हाइबरनेशन, ईस्टाइवेशन, डायापॉज, like these things. Hibernation is winter sleep, estivation is summer sleep, diapause is suspension of activities during extreme temperatures. तो ये बात क्यों करनी पड़ी कि plant cells protect the plant from variations of temperature. This is the function of cell wall, because all plants are poikilotherms. इतनी बर्फ वाले इलाके में पेड़ खड़े हैं अपनी मजबूती बनाए हुए. कभी देखा है कि ठंड में एक पेड़ शिवर करता हो? मैंने तो नहीं देखा. अरे भाई उसके पास सेल वॉल है प्रोटेक्शन के लिए. वो एक्सट्रीम टेम्परेचर्स पे भी, इतनी हॉट कंडीशंस में, इक्वेटोरियल फॉरेस्ट, इतनी गर्मी पड़ती है तो भी पेड़ खड़े हैं बिकॉज ऑफ सेल वॉल. रिजिडिटी के साथ साथ एक्सट्रीम्स ऑफ टेम्परेचर को भी सहना सेल वॉल का काम है. नाउ कम्स साइटोप्लाज्म. न्यूक्लियस के बाहर जो भी कुछ है दैट इज साइटोप्लाज्म. और साइटोप्लाज्म के अंदर जो भी हैं ये सारे सेल ऑर्गेनेलीज हैं या साइटोप्लाज्मिक ऑर्गेनेलीज, जैसे माइटोकॉन्ड्रिया, एंडोप्लाज्मिक रेटिकुलम, रफ, स्मूथ, गोल्जी बॉडीज, वैक्यूल्स, ये सारे के सारे हमारे पास साइटोप्लाज्मिक ऑर्गेनेलीज हैं. दे आर स्पेशलाइज्ड टू परफॉर्म स्पेसिफिक फंक्शंस. तो आने वाले लेक्चर्स में हमने सेल ऑर्गेनेलीज की डिटेल करनी है, बट आपको ये पता होना चाहिए कि सेल ऑर्गेनेलीज आर प्रेजेंट इन द साइटोप्लाज्म, और न्यूक्लियस के बाहर जो भी जेली लाइक सब्सटेंस है दैट इज साइटोप्लाज्म. साइटोसॉल, it is fluid part of cytoplasm and contains a number of substances such as water, ions, enzymes, vitamins, carbohydrates, proteins. तो साइटोप्लाज्म का solution is what you call it as cytosol, which will contain different types of biomolecules, inorganic as well as organic. So this is what cytoplasm consists of. So cytoplasm has two divisions. One is cytosol and one are cell organelles or cytoplasmic organelles. Now let's check your knowledge, what we have done. It was a small lecture. A cell was placed in hypotonic solution but did not burst. It could be, पहले भी किया था, अगर आप RBCs को हाइपोटोनिक सोल्यूशन में रख दो, मान लो 100% वाटर में रख दिया, they will swell and finally burst. बट एक प्लांट सेल को जिसके पास रिजिड सेल वॉल है, अगर आप हाइपोटोनिक में रख देते हो, पानी जरूर अंदर जाएगा, साइटोप्लाज्मिक कंटेंट्स विल इंक्रीज, साइटोसॉल विल इंक्रीज, सेल मेम्ब्रेन विल अटैच टू द सेल वॉल, जिसको हम फुल्ली टर्जिड सेल कहते हैं. पर ये बर्स्ट नहीं करेगा. तो जिस केस में भी सेल वॉल होगी, दैट सेल विल नॉट बर्स्ट. तो प्लांट सेल इज ओके, फंगल सेल इज ओके. सो बोथ A and B, both B and C is the correct answer. Animal cell will burst as I have shown already in RBC. Plasmodesmata is cytoplasmic connections between, ये एक प्लांट सेल है, ये दूसरा प्लांट सेल है, इधर चैनल्स होते हैं, इनके थ्रू मूवमेंट्स ऑफ पार्टिकल्स कैन अकर. दीज आर व्हाट आर नोन एज plasmodesmata. They are exclusively found in adjacent plant cells. Which of the following is involved in bulk transport? अब देखो, बल्क ट्रांसपोर्ट में किसकी इन्वॉल्वमेंट है? न्यूक्लियस की? नो. ये इन्होंने साइटोप्लाज्मिक ऑर्गेनेलीज दिखाए हैं. क्या इसकी इन्वॉल्वमेंट हो सकती है? नहीं. माइटोकॉन्ड्रिया की? नहीं. सेल मेम्ब्रेन की? यस, क्योंकि सेल मेम्ब्रेन was involved in endocytosis as well as exocytosis as previously has been explained. So right answer will be D. Middle lamella contains pectates of, ये अभी आप छोटे हो, अभी आपको क्रैम करना पड़ेगा कि कैल्शियम पैक्टेट होता है, थोड़ा मैग्नीशियम भी होता है साथ, जो सेलुलोज के साथ सेल वॉल को और रिजिडिटी देता है. So that's all for this lecture. We continue with further with the lecture again.